right, a very good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for joining in at 9 o'clock India time. It's quite late in the evening, but it also showcases that you really want to invest in your learning and learn some things new. And that's the purpose of the next 60 minutes. Okay. So out here, we have quite a big bunch of people, and I'm so very glad to see that. I'm glad to see quite a few Next Leap fellows as well joining in. So welcome, and a few who are perhaps thinking about joining the Next Leap Fellowship. So welcome to all of you as well. So today's session is going to be all about how you can think about building resumes and portfolios to stand out in front of recruiters and hiring managers. I'm guessing since you've joined this, you are applying for product roles and trying to break into product roles. And maybe you are just kind of getting stuck a bit, or you want to kind of learn a few tips and tricks on how to stand out in front of recruiters. That's what brings you here. So, and we'll try to kind of unravel all of that and tell you how you can actually do better. Okay, so that's the purpose of today's session. Once again, welcome everyone. If you can turn on your cameras, please try to do that. It always helps to make for an interactive session. Also, one of the things which I would ask you to do is have your pen and paper handy, and also try to have your resume or portfolio, if you have it, try to keep that also in place, because we will be doing it in a very interactive fashion just to make sure you get the most out of this session. All right. Okay. So let's get started. So is everyone ready? Give me a quick yes in the chat so that I know everyone's kind of ready to get going, and we'll get started. Okay, wonderful. 9 o'clock, who says we don't have the energy? All of you are fully energetic. I can see that in the chat. Keep that going. All right, how to build a product portfolio. We'll also talk about resumes. My name's Arindam Mukherjee, and I am the co-founder of NextLeap, for those of you who don't know me. And I'll be kind of talking about this. What makes me kind of a person who can talk about this is because I've spent kind of more than a decade now in the product world, having hired kind of so many people, having interviewed hundreds and if not thousands of people, and have learned a few things around how hiring happens. And that's what I'm going to be sharing over the next 60 minutes. So next 60 minutes is going to be power packed. We'll talk about how to think about resumes and portfolios, make it very, very simple for you to think about it, and also share a few tips on how you can build out very good resumes, and also how you can create your product portfolios. We'll also be sharing a few resources and templates with you, which you can use, and hopefully that will also be helpful. So please stay tuned till the end of the session. So first of all, for those of you who have attended Next Leap sessions with me, they know this is a very familiar slide that I start off with, which is the waterfall time. And I ask a question to all of you, and I'll ask you the same out here as well. Very simple question. What is the difference between a resume and a portfolio? Let's see. Put that in the chat. Let's see what you have in mind right now. What is the difference between a resume and a portfolio? Let's give it a minute for all of you to type in your answers, and let's see what's on your mind. Difference between a resume and a portfolio. Resume, self-attested work. Portfolio is proof of work. Very nice. Okay, resume tells about the work you did. Portfolio showcases the work directly. Okay, proof of work or capability versus professional summary. All right, portfolio is like a proof of work. Static plus past, portfolio dynamic plus future. I love that. Okay. Resume captures experience, portfolio captures work. Okay. Resume is work history, portfolio is actually assignments you've worked on. Very nice. So seems like all of you guys know it very well. Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Resume is basically about the person. Portfolio is basically expertise working with energy, tech, etc. All right. Wonderful. Okay, great. So seems like you guys have a fairly good understanding of what is a resume versus what is a portfolio. Let's try to dig a bit deeper and try to understand the hiring process first of all. Okay. So the different steps in the hiring process, especially for product roles, if we are applying, the first step will usually start off with the resume shortlisting process, and that is where most people get knocked off. There is about 5% of people who will get selected. Then maybe you'll have a phone screen with the recruiter or sometimes the hiring manager, where about 30% from what is remaining will move to the next step, which will most likely be a problem solving round. A 50% selection rate usually happens here. Then you'll have a product sense round where again about 40% will make it. And finally, for those of you who are still going there, they will have a tech orientation round. About 50% will make it through, right? So if you do the math out here, you'll understand how competitive it is. And as you can understand, a big drop off happens out here itself, right at the top of the funnel. If you notice any of the job postings that keep coming out on LinkedIn, within 24 hours, you will most likely see more than 200 applicants, if not more, right? That's how competitive it is. For one role, within 24 hours, there will be more than 200 people applying, right? But the interesting thing is, out of those 200 people, maybe 150 of them are applying without thinking much. And that's your opportunity to really stand out. 150 of them perhaps aren't putting in that effort, just hitting on that apply button, just filling in the details, and that's it, right? Once you understand that if you put in that additional amount of effort, you will automatically stand out. Most people, as humans, we are lazy. We don't want to put in that much of effort, right? And that's your opportunity to stand up. As simple as that. Okay. So let's keep moving forward and try to kind of peel the onion, as we say, right? Try to kind of think about the resume or the portfolio as a product. We are all learning about product management. You guys are aspiring to get into product management. So let's try to think as if the resume or the portfolio is a product. And let's try to do not a product teardown, but a resume teardown. Okay. So first question to you, who do you think are the customers? We always want to know and build for the customers. Who do you think are the customers of your resume or portfolio? Tell me in the chat, who do you think are the customers? Okay, HR, hiring managers, recruiter, okay. Who else? Okay. Other PMs, okay. Okay. ATS, okay, very nice. All right. ATS, you have to get past ATS, all right. Company founders, whoever is viewing, all right. Whoever is viewing is perhaps not a very good answer because you need to be very crystal clear about who you are building the product. You cannot build a product for everyone. You have to build a product for a certain set of people, right? Only then it will work out well. Okay, so if you think very carefully, there are three types of customers that you have for your resume or your product portfolio. First is referrer. You might actually go through a referral, right? Many times we look for referrals, right? You might actually, your portfolio, your resume might be forwarded by someone already working in that organization, okay? The second one, as we call HR or someone in the talent acquisition team, the recruiting team, that's the second kind of profile. And the third person is perhaps the hiring manager. These are three different kinds of customers for your portfolio, okay? Now in product development, what is the next thing that we try to do is try to understand our customers a lot better, don't we, right? So let's try to first understand, just like we do a customer journey mapping in product development, let's try to understand the journey that your resume or your portfolio travels. And if you see, it will start from you, move to the HR, and then to the or shortlist, easiest one out here. Sometimes it might be going to the HR might send it to the hiring manager will send it back to the HR, and then perhaps the shortlist. Or maybe it's from you directly to the hiring manager or the founder and the shortlist. Or sometimes from you to the employee who is the referrer, who sends it to the HR or the hiring manager, and from there a shortlist, right? So different paths that your resume or portfolio might take, okay? So now as we do in product development, what are the jobs to be done, right? We learn about jobs to be done. for customers. So what are the jobs to be done for your customers of your resume or portfolio? Three different customers that we talked about. We talked about the referrer, we talked about the HR or the recruiter, and we also talked about the hiring manager. What are they looking for and where are they struggling? You need to keep that in mind, right? Because at the end of the day, the resume or the portfolio is your product. Okay. The referrer, if you think about it, why is someone referring? At the heart of it, it's mostly two things, two or three things. One, I might end up making some more money because companies usually reward for referrals, etc. Second is I can actually establish credibility within my organization for building or helping source good talent. And third, it's all about a feeling of satisfaction or feeling good that I helped somebody. Okay. At the core of it, this person is only going to refer if this person feels there's a good chance of these happening. If there isn't a good chance of these happening, then this person will also not be very interested in referring. Okay. The next one, the HR person or the recruiter, what is that person looking for? What's the job to be done out here? Close the position ASAP, because that's the mandate to the recruiting team. Close the positions as soon as possible, right? The better people they can actually bring in, the sooner they actually bring in, their credibility as a recruiter increases, not just within the organization, but also in the ecosystem. Okay. So that's what the HR or the recruiter is looking for. Close the position immediately. Close the position as soon as possible. And make sure that you're bringing in some good people, right? Third, the hiring manager. What is he or she looking for? Again, close the position ASAP. There are a lot of projects to be picked up, a lot of work. I want the person to join immediately. And second is the hiring manager is also people manager, wants to make sure the credibility that they build within the organization is that of someone who can actually build very good quality teams, which means they are looking to onboard people who have the necessary skill sets. When will they be known for building quality teams? When their team members are actually performing really well. When will they perform really well? When they have the necessary skills. Okay. So these are the three roles, the three customers. These are their jobs to be done. Remember the key things that are coming out. One, a validation of the skills. They're looking for people with skills. They're looking to close very, very fast. Okay. Two key things to keep in mind out here. So then where are they struggling? What is it that you need to solve for? What are their unmet needs? Okay. For the referrer, it is all about discovery. How do I actually get access to really good profiles for me to refer? That's number one. HR or recruiter, how do I reduce the time taken to shortlist? If within 24 hours I'm getting 200 people applying to one particular role, it takes me a lot of time to really shortlist. How do I actually reduce my time to shortlist? How do I increase the conversion ratio there from kind of an application to an offer rollout, right? How do I do that? And the hiring manager, how do I ensure that the person I'm trying to onboard or trying to hire actually has the skills that I'm looking for? Because the hiring manager wants to be very sure that this person can perform the job if I go on to hire this person. Okay, so these are kind of their needs. Since we are talking about skills now, for a hiring manager is looking for someone with the necessary skills, the automatic question is, but what are the skills that they are looking for in these candidates? Okay. And this is a question that I get from a lot of people who are looking to break into product roles, that what are the skills? Okay. So let's try to understand that a bit more. And I'm going to kind of give you 3 minutes. Akanksha is going to share on the chat a link to our job board, our open public job board. So if you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and check that out. It's kind of a curation of job postings from across the board. So click on any of those 2 or 3 kind of job descriptions and try to see what are the skills that these companies are looking for. We'll give you a couple of minutes for you to figure this out. And then we'll go on to talk more about how you can move forward. Click on any 2 or 3 of those job descriptions and look at what are the skills that they are asking for. And start putting it in the chat. Let's see, what are the skills that you guys are finding? Relevant prior PM experience, communication, product sense, okay? Understanding and empathy for user, data analysis, stakeholder management, okay? Area specific knowledge, technical understanding, structured thinking, data science, analytics, problem solving, A/B testing, okay, great. Product design, yeah. Wireframing, all right. Competitor analysis, clarity and curiosity, ability to communicate ideas clearly, design thinking, risk management, demonstrating new ideas, execution, stakeholder management, strategic thinking. They're looking for everything. Yeah, absolutely. Customer insights, analytical skills. They're asking for an Avengers superhero, it seems. Okay. And here's a secret which nobody is going to tell you, but I'm going to kind of tell it to you. Never take job descriptions seriously. I've heard so many people say that, oh, I am not going to apply. They are asking for too many things. I don't have these. And they will end up not applying. But a job description is nothing but someone's imagination of what an ideal candidate should be. Believe me, in my 10 years, I've never seen someone meet that ideal kind of job description. Not a single person. It's impossible. It's impossible for someone to know everything. Okay. So never shy away from applying to jobs just because you feel that, oh, I don't know this or I don't know that. Try it out, right? Because you never know. Maybe you are still better off compared to other candidates. Okay. Now, you looked at a lot of those skills that are there, and I tried to kind of summarize kind of what we usually see in the industry, right? If you look at it, these are the major buckets which the recruiters are looking for. Okay. Results or impact oriented, innovative mindset, familiarity with technology, stakeholder management, structured thought process, can hit the ground running, curiosity, and having an analytical mindset. Okay. Typically, if you ask any recruiter, any hiring manager, they will talk about these specific things that they're looking for. Okay. Did you see in a lot of job descriptions a focus on tools and things like that? Most likely not, right? Yet, most people think that, okay, I need to know so much about tools. Nobody cares, believe me. Okay, because tools are the easiest to learn. The difficult part are these things. Okay. Can you guess why the first 4 are in black and the other 4 are in a different color? There's a reason why I have actually segregated it. Any guesses? Prioritizing few skills, okay? Hard versus soft skill. Yeah, resume versus portfolio. The top one should actually come in your resume, and all of these comes in your portfolio. Because how would I know whether you're curious or not? I cannot gauge that through the resume. You can say I'm a curious individual and I'll have to take it at face value, but I would not be able to validate it, right? But if you have done a case study, you have done a product teardown, those actually showcase curiosity. Whether you can hit the ground running or not, how will I know? Only if you have demonstrated your skills, showed that, okay, I can actually do this job. Here's proof. Only then I'll get that confidence. How would I know whether you're analytical or not? Only when you have done some analysis, when you have shown that, okay, here's how I have approached a particular problem. Only then I'll know you're analytical or not, right? But I can actually look at your resume and figure out whether you're results oriented or and impact oriented, because if you're putting out, okay, this is what I achieved, this is the impact that I delivered, it clearly shows that you care about results, you care about impact. If you talk about the fact that you have launched something new, not necessarily a product, launched a new initiative or something like that, it shows that you are thinking with an innovative mindset. If you are talking about kind of building something, right, or working on particular tech products and things like that, that it shows that you are familiar with it. If you are actually working in a particular role which involves like a lot of stakeholder management and you talk about that, right, then automatically kind of it helps me to understand that. Okay. So before we move forward, just a quick call out for those of you who are looking to join in into the Product Manager Fellowship. The next Lead Product Manager Fellowship is enrolling for the next cohort in January, starting in January. Early bird pricing ends in 3 days. And I hope kind of I get to see a few new faces in the community as well. I already see quite a few folks from the Next Leap community attending this session. So looking forward to seeing a few newer faces in the community. Let's keep moving forward. So first, let's talk about resume building. Now that we have seen the difference between resume and portfolio, what to focus on for which one, let's talk a bit about resume building, okay? So in resumes, there are typically 5 segments that your resume should have. Okay. First is your candidate profile, name, contact details, LinkedIn URL, and all of that. Second is your summary, a very brief summary of yours, why you fit the role. Third is your work experience. Fourth, your education. And fifth, a personal side of you, which is you can talk about your interests, something that will make you remember, like make your candidature memorable, right? For example, I always write in my personal section a Roger Federer fan, right? And I've actually had a lot of conversation starters with recruiters in the past where they've actually said that Federer, I'm a Nadal fan, right? It's automatically a conversation starter, right? So something which will make you memorable, okay? If you are applying for a product role, the other segment which you absolutely need to think about is adding a product portfolio section in your resume. Okay. 5 major segments and a 6th one being around the product portfolio. Okay. So let's now dig a bit deeper. So let's first analyze how humans read, and we'll try to make it simple so that all of you guys can understand the logic behind it. So how do humans read? Okay. First is, if you try it out even right now, to glance, if you have a book in front of you, try glancing through one page and you will see you are taking typically about 20 to 30 seconds. Okay. That's pretty much the time that a recruiter is also going to spend on your resume. What does that mean? What does that mean? Any guesses? What does this mean?
We judge too fast.
You judge too fast. Okay, that's a good way to interpret it. Okay.
Perhaps we should
Okay.
highlight what we want him to remember, I guess.
Okay, you should highlight what you want them to remember. Okay.
First page should catch the attention of the person glancing it.
Okay. All right. Board in 20 seconds only, minimum time. Okay. A very
I think
simple
keeping it,
thing to, yes, go ahead.
I think keeping it clean and short and crisp also works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not
So, which is
things in.
why the important thing is to keep your resume to one page. Simple tip which will always work. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, how will I fit things in one page? I have so much to talk about. I have done so much, right? After almost 15 years of working, my resume is still one page, by the way. If I can do it, so can you. Because that's the attention span of a recruiter. Keep it to one page, always. Okay? Unless and until you are an academic who has a lot of papers, etc., to talk about, it makes absolutely no sense for you to go beyond one page. In today's world, even more so, because in today's world, the attention spans are always on a decline. The first thing is keep your resume to one page. Second thing, how do we read? We always read from top to bottom and left to right, leaving aside reading Arabic. We always read from top to bottom and left to right. Right? What does this mean? What does this mean?
Important points on top left.
Yeah, absolutely. Bang on. Keep the most impactful and the relevant aspects at the top and the left for it to register on the recruiter's mind. I've seen a lot of people who have maybe 5 or 6 years of experience are still starting off with education at the top. Why? Is that your core selling point? Obviously, if you have gone to some top institutes, it can be a selling point. But if not, lead with your experience. If you are actually, let's say, trying to transition into products, say from sales, okay, do you want to start off by talking about sales, or do you want to talk about your portfolio first? Which is the most impactful and relevant stuff that you want to talk about? Okay, so that's the second thing to keep in mind. Always keep the most impactful and relevant aspects at the top and at the left. What does writing at the left, like starting off with the impactful stuff at the left, mean? Delivered 8% increase in sales by doing so and so and so. You start off with the impact first. Okay. Any suggestion for freshers? For freshers, don't hide the fact that you're a fresher. It's okay. Everyone goes through a journey of a fresher. Everyone would have been a fresher at some point in time. You don't have to fake the work experience. Write it as internships. That's okay. And lead with your education. Maybe have more things around positions of responsibility, the kind of responsibility that you have kind of showcased and the accountability that you have showcased. Talk about those things. Don't hide the fact that you are a fresher, right? It's absolutely fine. We understand that someone is a fresher. It's a part of life. Someone cannot suddenly have 10 years of experience. Okay. All right. So first thing, keep it to one page. Second thing, keep the most impactful and the relevant aspects at the top and the left. Third thing, how do we actually read? If you go a lot deeper, what you'll find is we see a stimulus. For example, right now, you are viewing your screen with your eyes, and a signal is going to your brain, and your brain is processing that information. That's how we actually read and comprehend. Okay. Now, let me actually give you an exercise here. Can you tell me, by seeing this next slide, how many threes can you spot on the screen? How many threes can you spot on the screen? And post it on the chat. Let me see. How many threes can you spot on the screen? A lot, okay? Okay, 7, 6, 7, 6, 4, 8, 8, 7, 7, 6. It's hard, right? To figure out how many threes. You really have to strain your eyes out here. Now the same thing, right? If I do this, how many threes are there now? 7. So easy, right? So easy to read. Make your resume easy to read. Okay. How can you do it? A simple thing here is make the relevant parts in your resume in bold. And this is again another mistake which I find. People make everything bold. Where should I focus? Make me focus only on a certain thing. Remember those kind of skills that we talked about, stakeholder management and things like that? Those are the skills. That is what you want to draw the attention of the reader towards. That, hey, look, I actually have showcased these skills in the past life. I have these skills. Make those in bold, not everything in bold. Make the impact in bold to showcase the fact that I am results oriented, I am impact oriented. Look, I have delivered 8% increase. Don't make your some godforsaken software name in bold. Nobody knows that software name at all. Okay, so those are the things to keep in mind out here. All right, Ashish, I'm just going to come to you in a bit. Just hold on for a second. So that's the third thing. Make the relevant parts of your resume in bold. The fourth thing, how do we actually kind of act? If you're reading something, when do you actually take an action? Imagine yourself reading an article and there is a particular thing hyperlinked. You are more likely to actually click on that link to go deeper, right? Because there is a nudge for you to go deeper. It's calling to you that, hey, click me, I am a link. Okay. Similarly, if you think about your resume and your portfolio in conjunction, like it's like Karan and Arjun of sorts, right? Look at them together. Add a link to your portfolio on your resume. Create that nudge for the reader to click on that link and go deeper. It's like the due diligence. Okay. You have now done the elevator pitch, created that interest. Now here's the link for the reader to go deeper. Okay. So add a link to your portfolio. So 5 key principles to follow when building your resume. First thing, keep it to 1 page. Second, keep the most relevant elements at the top. Third, begin each sentence with the words that demonstrate impact. Fourth, highlight the words which demonstrate the skills required for the role. And finally, have a CTA for your resume. CTA means call to action. And the call to action should be your portfolio link. Don't have other calls to action. Okay. If I have a 2-page resume, can I remove my first 2 job experiences and just keep the recent ones? Up to you, but I'll show you how to do it as well. So just hold on for a bit. LinkedIn, okay. Do you want to link it to your LinkedIn? Why? Why would you want someone to go to your LinkedIn page? Is there something additional that you have on LinkedIn? Most likely not. Right? Take them deeper. Think about the question on the reader's mind. This profile looks interesting. I want to know more. So give them more. What are the questions on their mind? Is this person actually what this person is claiming to be? Can this person actually do the job? That's the question on the reader's mind. Then answer that question. The question on the reader's mind is not that how many followers or how many connections does this person have. Okay. So having a call to action by putting a link to your portfolio is the smarter thing to do. Okay. Yes, Dhaval, I'll just share that in a bit. Just hold on. Okay. So now what I want you to do is take the next 2 to 3 minutes, analyze your resume, whichever version of your resume you have, and see which of these 5 principles are being violated, and write it in the chat that right now my resume violates these principles. Let's see. We all talk about learning by doing. Unless and until we are doing it, we are applying it, we are not going to be learning.
Arindam, can you go back to the previous slide to see that 5 points?
Yeah, so I'll repeat that for you. Keep it to 1 page. Okay, let me actually go back. Just give me 1 second. Keep it to 1 page is the first one. The second one is keep the most relevant elements at the top. The third one is begin each sentence with the most impactful thing that you have, with the impact, calling out the impact. Fourth is highlight the words which demonstrate the skills required for the role, right? And last one is having a call to action to your portfolio.
One question, Arindam.
Yes.
So generally, like when we start off for applying for jobs, we will usually apply for maybe dozens of applications in a day or something, and each of those companies might have different set of skill set mentioned. So
yeah, which is what I said, right? Don't take the job description seriously.
Okay,
it will all be an ideal kind of a job description, and there is no candidate like that which exists.
Got it. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay. Ashish, what's your question?
Arindam, I have 2 questions actually. One on the templates. I think
I'll share that in a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you were going to be sharing that. But the other thing is about the impact. The challenge when you see what 5 points I'm validating for myself is having a hard time in showing the impact, because a lot of times we work on things and we never estimate what kind of impact we have had on that work.
That's the biggest problem. That is the biggest problem. Now think about the signal that it is sending to the reader that this person does not care about the results.
So my question would be, how, if we go back in memory lane to think about a particular work that we have done, how can we then find the impact? Is there a way you think about when you are?
Yeah, absolutely. Ask your current employees that, okay, can you remind me what this impact was? Do that exercise by yourself. Try to remember that project, right? You have to do it. There's absolutely no 2 ways about it. You have to. Because without that, you are not going to showcase the fact that you actually delivered something to the organization.
Agreed. But my follow-up question would be, like, a lot of times we hear these numbers, 5%, 2%, 8%.
Yeah.
Now, these are quantifiable numbers, but then I mean, let's say I have done something, I can see there was an impact, but I don't know exactly, or maybe even an estimate of what that impact is. So how these numbers have to be superficial, because these numbers cannot be
No, it's not superficial. Always be authentic, because you can be grilled on it during the interviews. Okay. Ranjit?
Arindam, I have a question. I was going through the job posted on LinkedIn, and in most of the jobs, they are asking for engineering background candidates. So
as I said, don't take job description seriously. I'll show you a few examples in a bit. Just hold on.
I've got my answer. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. What about numbers that might be confidential from your very good questions? If there are confidential numbers, right, then you have to tread a bit carefully. Okay, honestly speaking, if those are confidential numbers, you have to tread a bit carefully. But at the same time, don't shy away from taking credit for the work that you have done.
Hi, Arindam.
Yes, Vish, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing is that I have seen that in LinkedIn multiple times the jobs are being repeated. Means profile, if you can see that, yeah, you can see the number of people has applied, and after a certain period they close the profile and again repost it again. So
Yeah.
I've seen it multiple times. Means
Yeah.
what exactly
Yeah,
the reason
absolutely.
behind?
The reason for that is they do it in batches. They try to kind of
The time you know that people
they
are try the LinkedIn, but
they
calls are not coming mostly from.
they try to game the LinkedIn algorithm because LinkedIn showcases the more recent jobs upfront. Okay. So this is a way to game the LinkedIn algorithm, nothing else. Okay. So cool. So it seems like you guys have kind of analyzed your resume a bit. You see quite a few of these elements being violated. So this is kind of a trigger for you to relook at your resume. This might be the reason why your resumes are not getting shortlisted also. So you better kind of correct these things because it will actually take you farther. Now let's try to analyze a resume out here, right? I'm going to kind of show you something out here. So when you see something like this, what do you think is wrong with this particular bullet point?
He's highlighting the wrong things.
Highlighting the wrong things. Okay, great. No impact, no numbers. Okay. Doesn't show the impact of the work. Okay. Abbreviations. Okay. Yeah. Nothing quantified.
No link provided.
Yeah. No link provided. Well, links are provided, but for a very wrong thing.
Wrong link provided.
Yeah. Not scannable. Okay. Text heavy.
No need to provide more detailed information on resume.
Yeah. So if you look very carefully, what this person is writing out here is developed clear and thorough product requirement documents, conducted regular field visits, assisted the project director, led the product backlog and design meetings. It is as if you are describing your role and your responsibility. You are not talking about what you delivered. That is what a resume should talk about. So that's the classic mistake which most candidates make. They describe their role and responsibility. They don't talk about the impact of the achievement. If you actually describe only your role and your responsibility, 90% chance that your resume is not going to get shortlisted. Because I don't want to know what your role or your responsibility was, that you conducted field visits, that you wrote product requirements document. That was supposed to be your role. Then what's the big deal out here? Why are you harping about that? Instead, tell me what is the impact that you delivered? What value did you add to the organization? Right? What if we have a research oriented job? Fair enough, you have a research oriented job, but think about why is the research done? What is the kind of scope of the research? What is the value of that research? Think from a value terms versus in terms of tasks. Don't outline the tasks that you did. People don't want to know the tasks. People want to know whether you have delivered value or not. In organizations also, you have rewards and recognitions team, right? Rewards and recognitions schemes, etc. What gets rewarded? Do you get rewarded for doing the tasks, or do you get rewarded for achieving kind of or delivering impact or delivering value? Right? That is what gets rewarded. And you need to actually talk about that. You cannot talk about the fact that, okay, I did 5 user research interviews. I did so many this, I did so many that, right? It's okay. That is what you're expected to do in the role. Okay. So now kind of how can value be quantified for soft skills? So for soft skills, the thing is focus on the skills part of it, where you are, let's say you're talking about stakeholder management, right? You're talking about stakeholder management where you're outlining kind of the fact that, okay, you launched something by coordinating with functions like finance and sales and so many other different things, right? How do I align my sales experience? Sales experience is perhaps the easiest because to showcase results if you have kind of achieved kind of sales goals, etc. Right? You can actually talk about the fact that sales also involves a lot of stakeholder management, right? So you can actually talk about a lot of those. I'll show you a few examples also in a bit, right? For SD also, I'll show you a few examples. I think that will make it clearer. What I want you to do now is first figure out whether you are making this mistake or not. How you can correct this, we'll get to that in a bit. But are you making this mistake? How many of you are making this mistake? Give me a quick yes to see. So many of you are making this mistake. And this might be actually standing in your way of getting shortlisted. Right? So you have to kind of work on correcting this. Right? Is it necessary to change the resume as per the job you are applying? The more effort you put in for a specific job, the greater your chances. As simple as that. Right? If you really want to get into a particular company and a particular role, put in that effort. Okay.
Arindam, just one
Yes.
more question regarding impact. So, really maybe on LinkedIn post or maybe on the company website, we are able to see what was the overall impact of the project. But to break it down at like our level, like freshers, that is a little bit challenging. So, is this a negative thing? Like if I write the overall impact of the project, or like?
It is okay. See, the thing is, it is okay to put the overall impact of the project and say that you were a part of that. What I am trying to kind of get as a signal is that, okay, is this person results oriented? Is this person impact oriented? Everyone knows that by oneself, one single person cannot deliver kind of hundreds of crores of impact, right? Not possible. So that's why teams exist, and you will be playing a role in that team. That's okay. But to make sure that you are putting out the fact that you know that what impact was created shows the fact that you care about impact, you care about results.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's keep moving forward, and I'll kind of now share with you a resume template, right? Akanksha, if you can just post the link to the resume template. So this is a resume template which you guys can use. We've created it kind of for anyone to kind of take a look at it. If you see, what we have done out here is we have given you some guidelines on how to do it, how many words you should be using, how many, how you should actually pitch things, right? And it's a one-pager, right? So don't make it more than so many words, don't make it more than so many sentences and things like that. So try using this and try putting it into this template, and hopefully you will have quite a few things. It's well formatted also. I see a lot of resumes which are not formatted. So please do take a look at it. And if you find it useful, go ahead and use it. Okay. All right. Dhaval, yes, go ahead with your question, please.
Yes, Arindam. So my question was again regarding internal products or B2C, B2B products if you are working on. So I mean, usually recruiters, they are like, okay, show us what you have built. But it is difficult if we are working on internal products. So how do we showcase impact in that case? Because they are not necessarily as metrics driven as B2C products or apps if someone is working on.
No, absolutely. I wouldn't agree with that statement that internal products are not kind of metrics driven. Like if those are not adding any value, then why even build that product? If you've built a product, that means it is supposed to add value.
Yeah.
Right? So you should know why that product was built.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Believe me, this is a very big signal to recruiters and hiring managers that if someone is not putting in impact or not putting in achievements, then the signal that as hiring managers, as recruiters, we take is the fact that, okay, this person is perhaps not results oriented or impact oriented. That's the one single line summary of that kind of a resume. Okay. So let's keep moving.
Just to follow up. So does that impact necessarily has to be in numbers format only, or I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Impact means numbers, as simple as that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So now let's focus on the product portfolio part of it, right? And let's try to understand in product portfolios what to kind of do, right? So product portfolio should show to the reader that you can do the job. That's the objective of your product portfolio. Okay. So then when we are talking about the fact that you can do the job, let's first understand what do you do in this job as a product manager, right? Tell me in the chat, what do you think a product manager does? What are the things that you think a product manager does? Everything. Okay, everything is not a good answer. So let's be very specific. Solve the problem. Okay. Product roadmap. Okay. Writing a PRD. All right. User research, market research, communicating innovation. Okay. Collaboration. Okay. Product discovery. Okay. Design, product lifecycle management, outcomes. Okay. Ideation, test, iteration. Okay. Comparative analysis, systems thinking, stakeholder management. Okay. Go to market strategy. Okay. So many, right? It's a laundry list. So like a superhero again. So at a very broad level, these are the major things that a product manager will be focused on, right? Analyzing markets or competition, carrying out user research, writing PRDs, creating wireframes, analyzing the data, and sometimes presenting to the leadership as well. Okay. And these are the things which you need to bring out in your portfolio. How can you do that? By including these things in your portfolio. Case studies, product teardowns, PRDs, wireframes or prototypes that you've created, analysis of a data set using SQL. But at the same time, also pay attention to how you present your work. Because remember, one of the things that a product manager will also be doing is presenting to the leadership, right? Pitching to the leadership that this is a problem worth going after, this is the solution, and things like that. So your communication skills also matter. And specifically out here, your written communication skills matter, right? So that's the kind of crux out here, right? In a portfolio, you should be able to showcase all these different kind of skills, which is why I always say portfolio should serve as a proof of your skills, the required skills. Okay, so you knowing what all are the required skills is the first step done. And now you are kind of working backwards to figure out how do I showcase those skills. What are the kind of guidelines out here? Have at least 5 artifacts, maximum 10. Don't try to go overboard because nobody has that much time also to go through it, but have at least 5 artifacts. One classic mistake which I see a lot of people making is that they only add product teardowns. Okay. Don't do only teardowns. Okay. So I'm seeing kind of questions out here. Should teardowns be only for big or known companies? No, not necessarily. You can do it for companies which you would have discovered. And I always say try to do product teardowns on kind of not companies or broader products, but on features, because you are trying to reverse engineer what a product manager would have thought of while building out the product. That's what a product teardown is all about. So try to do it on a feature versus the entire product or the company. That is not a product teardown. That is basically a company analysis, right? So product teardown is something like you are doing a teardown of the onboarding process of a particular app. You are doing a product teardown of the tipping feature on Swiggy. These are examples of product teardowns. Okay. Examples of case studies. Let's say a case study is on the construction workers market and products for the construction worker market in India. Okay. Or maybe a case study on the menstrual wellness market in India. Okay. So these are kind of analysis of a market. Okay. So these can be case studies there. All right. What is an artifact? Artifact is basically the proof. It can be in the form of a PDF, a slide deck. It can be kind of a link to a GitHub repository, right? These are kind of artifacts, right? So we'll show you some examples in the next few minutes. So just hold on for a bit, right? So have at least 5 artifacts and don't put all in the same category of teardowns or all case studies or all wireframes. No, right? Make sure you are demonstrating all the skills that are required for this role. Okay, remember the portfolio is all about showing that you can do the job. So this also showcases the fact that you know what it takes to do this job, that these are the different skills required. Okay. The other thing which I always say is kind of when you're building out your portfolio, play to your strengths. A lot of people try to transition from other functions, especially if you are trying to transition from another technology function, like from design to product and analytics to product or engineering to product, right? Play to your strengths, right? As an engineer, you might have kind of a GitHub repository already set up. You're committing code there. Link your portfolio to kind of the GitHub repository. If you're a designer, have a Behance portfolio or a Dribble portfolio, link your design portfolio there. If you are a data scientist or an analyst, right? Again, if you are kind of using GitHub there, link your kind of work there, right? It should actually showcase that, and it goes a long, long way if you are adding those aspects also, right? So play to your strengths. Don't think that because you are from another function, you are at a disadvantage. You will always have some kind of an advantage. Play to those strengths. Next thing, whenever you're building out a portfolio, is get your portfolio reviewed by existing product managers. This is another thing which a lot of people miss out on. They don't get their portfolio reviewed. They feel like their portfolio is the best. It is not. So get your portfolio reviewed by existing product managers. And if you can, if they like certain aspects of your portfolio, get that feedback from them. And it goes a long way to add that feedback to your portfolio because it showcases the authenticity. Because as a reader, the question that I perhaps would be having is this person actually doing this work? Or is this person kind of stealing work from somewhere else and putting it on their portfolio, right? So if you can actually add that feedback to your portfolio, it develops that authenticity and that credibility factor also, right? So try to get your portfolio reviewed by existing product managers. Reach out to so many people who are already working as product managers. Make a request, do some cold reach out. It's okay. Out of 10 people, maybe 1 person will say yes, but that's enough for you, right? So do that and it goes a long, long way. Now, the next thing is, how do you go about building your portfolio then, right? The how part of it. We talked about the what part of it, but at the end of the day, where do you host these kind of portfolio, etc.? In today's world, the good part is you have so many no-code tools available to you, right? From a Notion to a WordPress where you can actually host these things. It is very, very easy to learn. Within an hour, you would have set it up. If you want to do it a bit more complex, there are site builders like with using no code like Webflow and Bubble and all of that. Those are also there, right? Try using OpenAI also if you are looking to build out a product. Google Sites also works. Absolutely, it does. Wix works, right? All of those things kind of work very, very well. Okay. The best thing actually is if you can build out a product. Okay. Yes, Canva site also will work, right? Anything which is hosting a site using no code, so you are just playing around with the layout and you're just adding your content there, should work. Okay. But the best thing is if you can actually build out a product, it will go a long way in showcasing the fact that you know what it takes to build out a product. I got my very first role, right, in product back in 2012 by building out a product. You want to see what it looked like? Yeah. Okay. I will show you. It's not live right now, but I dug it up from the Wayback Machine, and I'm going to share that with you. At that time in 2012, there was no code and all of that. So here it is. This was the product which I had built. This is what got me my first role as a product manager at TripAdvisor, right? And it was a fully functional site that I built, but I built it also to learn about product management. This was my way of learning, because at that point in time, there were not a lot of resources. There were not a lot of these fellowships like NextLeap, right? So obviously I had to learn the hard way, but it really helped me to learn. So the best form of actually building out your portfolio is if you can actually build out a product, okay? But even if you cannot, right, I'll show you some examples of a few fellows, right? Let's take them one by one, and I'll show you how kind of each one of them are actually doing it, right? So Akanksha, if you can just share Usher's portfolio, and I will also share my screen so that you can see that. Okay, so this is Usher. Usher, interesting, very interesting profile that he has. He actually was a criminal lawyer. Okay, he transitioned from law to product after the product manager fellowship at NextLeap. And if you see, this is the graduation project which we have at NextLeap, and then look at the projects that he has actually put out. The PRD and wireframes. Then he has put out kind of feature design. He has done kind of product teardowns. All different kinds of skills are actually there, right? If you open up his resume also, you will see how he has put out the things, right? He has led with the fact that he's from criminal law, but very big section on product, on his work on the product fellowship, everything. Okay, but if you can see like someone transitioning from a law background into product, and this person actually put in that effort. If you see his portfolio, you can actually understand the effort that this person has put in. Because this person knew that it's not going to be very easy to transition, given that this person is coming from a law background, but it's not impossible. And this person is a living proof that you can actually do it. We have seen people transition from CA into product through a fellowship. We have seen people transition from being a dentist to a product, and they've all focused on building out very strong portfolios. Okay, let's show you another example now. So this is Shivam's portfolio. This is a business analyst turned product owner at Capgemini. Again, what you will see is a lot of projects, a lot of teardowns and things like that, right? If you look at it, he has connected his GitHub profile also. Talked about telecom churn predictor, right? Whatever were his strengths, he's coming from a business analyst background, which means his strength was in analytics, right? If you go into his resume also, if you see, it's a very well laid out thing. Again, you will see a very big section on product portfolio and projects. Let's show you one more, and that is Kanika's kind of profile. She was an applications engineer at Accenture, and she recently transitioned into an associate product role at Battery Smart, which is an EV startup. Kanika having put in a lot of effort on the projects, putting out the different kind of case studies and teardowns, right? PRDs, Figma links, right? Building out prototypes and all of that. If you look at her resume also, you'll find right at the top, she's talking about the product management fellowship. Look at how well laid out the resume also is. Everything's linked. If you see those kind of cross links that are there, if you click on it, it will take you to your portfolio again. the assets, right? So these are some examples of good portfolios for you to take inspiration from. 3 different kinds of people. One person transitioning from a complete non-tech background into product. One person transitioning from an analytics background into product. One person transitioning from an engineering background into product. How long does it take to build a portfolio such as above, right? If you're putting in effort, right, maybe a couple of hours every day, I think you should be able to get a pretty decent portfolio out within 10 days to maybe a couple of weeks. If you're putting in 2 days regularly, you should be able to do it in 2 weeks. I don't see any reason why you cannot. Okay. Someone with 10 plus years of experience trying to pivot into PM, what extra should portfolio cover? Again, your portfolio should cover these things, maybe a bit more on strategic thinking pieces, especially around case studies which talk about strategy. I think that will be kind of an important part there. Yeah. What was the product you built, Arindam? Yeah, it was like, I'm quite a movie buff, so this was built out of a personal pain point. I wanted to figure out what kind of movies to watch, and I did not have a very good resource at that point in time. And yeah, this is what we ended up building at that point in time. Yeah. Okay, side project ideas apart from product teardowns. As I said, like, there are so many problems around you. Try to build something for yourself that's good enough if you're building out a product. If you do not know how to use Bubble or any other no-code tool along with OpenAI to build out a website, in today's world, you are falling behind. OpenAI has released those APIs. You just have to connect those APIs and that's it. You're done. Without writing any single piece of code, you can build out an app. You can publish. Very soon, you will be able to build out kind of GPT-powered chatbots, like bots on the OpenAI store, right? Make use of those things. These are very easy ways now for you to showcase your product building prowess. And the ones who are going to put in that effort, they will automatically stand out because they are building out a product versus those who aren't. Right? In 2012, when there was no such technologies at that point in time, I had to kind of do all of this, but you guys don't have to go through a lot of those hardships. You have all the tools right now. Make use of it, build it out. Maybe launch something on Product Hunt as well. Understand what this process of product building is all about. It will make it a lot more exciting. You will learn quite a few things along the process also. Gio, go ahead.
So I started with a background in design, right? And so when I look at the resumes, all these 3, like, is it okay to have it so dense with text? Because that was one of the things that, that we would look at least coming from a design background.
It's not about design or anything like that. Like, coming from a design background, I think you will be the first one to agree that readability should not suffer. That's the first thing to keep in mind, right?
Yeah.
The second thing is more from a content standpoint. You should not actually push out content just to fill up a page.
Yeah.
Right? The content should be meaty enough for you to talk about.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So I have the tendency to cut down even though I had content to put in.
Which is good.
I found that, maybe it was too much, to have the resume like this.
That's why I'm saying, have a forcing function there that it will be only one pager, right? And be very to the point. Now you can play around with font sizes and things like that, but kind of from a readability standpoint, if you maintain a certain font size, it's good enough. As long as you're not going below a certain kind of font size, you should be fine, right? So that's basically the thing, right? Again, layouts don't matter as such. The aesthetic appeal does not matter as such. People ask this question, should I make it a 2-column versus a 1-column? Those things don't matter as much. You should understand how humans read. Humans read from left to right. As simple as that. What are you putting on the left? What are you putting on the right?
Yeah.
Ankit?
Thanks.
Hi, Arindam. Arindam, I have an experience of 3+ years in engineering, and as you know,
Right.
I'm to transition. So why
Yeah.
should education be on top on my
No, it
resume?
should not. No, it doesn't need to be. So in the template, you would find we have put it there, right? Because if we put it right at the bottom, we will ask, okay, why is it at the bottom? So you have to put it somewhere. But
Oh,
what the simple thing to keep in mind is lead with the thing which is most impactful for you. If, for example, some people ask this question, okay, I'm from a tier 2 college, right? Whatever that means, tier 2, tier 1, I don't know. But some people have that tendency that, okay, I'm from a tier 2 college. Uh, if you feel like, okay, nobody knows your college, then don't lead with that. But let's say you know that, okay, you have a 9.5 GPA on a scale of 10, then that's a very good thing. Lead with that.
okay.
So lead with the most impactful thing. Don't lead with something which is not going to impact and people will easily kind of skim past it.
Got it. Got it.
Okay. Suyash?
Hi, Arindam. So,
Hi.
I've worked with PhonePe and Slice in the past in product. So,
Mm-hmm.
wanted to know, you mentioned we can add PRDs in our portfolio. So, how do we go about that? Matlab, the data and the PRDs which we created, that is final.
How, as in?
We are not able to download the PRDs. We don't have access. We cannot publicly show them. So, any other way we can mention the work we did apart from PRDs?
Okay, got it. Yeah, so again, I always say ki don't try to put out company confidential information, right? It's not professional behavior, right? So don't try to put those things out there, and maybe try to write something else if at all, right? If you are kind of working on a hypothetical project, or maybe you're building something on the side as a side hustle, try to use that and showcase. At the end of the day, you have to showcase your writing skills and you have to showcase your structured thought process, right? That's what you need to showcase. You don't need to showcase that you wrote a PRD at PhonePe.
Thank you so much. I think that helps.
Yeah, sure. So I'll quickly show you in case, okay, before I show, maybe I'll ask you, or maybe you guys are not interested, so I wouldn't show them. But are you guys interested in seeing my resume from, I don't know, 12 years ago? This is when I applied to Flipkart, or rather Flipkart reached out to me and they'd asked me for the resume. So if you see at that point in time, even though I had experience, I had led with kind of the education, because again, I was fortunate enough to study in some pretty popular institutions, so why not lead with it? Then this was kind of the experience part of it. And if you see, this is the same kind of formatting or the layout that is shared in the template as well. Okay. If you see the kind of wordings out here, increase listings growth by 35%, increase questions submitted to traveler forums by 25%, increase revenue by 2%, right? All of those are kind of launched a minimum viable product, build the founding team, right? So these are showcasing the fact that, okay, it's results oriented, achieved break-even sales in the first year, raised $30,000 in seed funding, right? Achieve 85% process reliability. So these numbers actually showcase the fact that, okay, like you are results oriented. That's the benefit. And you are reading from left to right always, which means this is never going to get missed. Okay, so that's the benefit out here. Okay, I don't know if it is helpful or not, but I just thought I'll share with you so that you guys can get a view into it. And this was the Roger Federer fan thing, which I talked about personally.
Arindam, I actually had this doubt regarding being a co-founder. Like, is it viewed as a positive thing, or like, is it like they'll be like you've been spending time outside your company to focus on something else, like with all this moonlighting thing going on?
See, again, I personally view it very positively, right? I would not assume that everyone thinks the same that I do, right? Again, if you're doing a side hustle, my guess is 8 out of 10 people will take it positively. 2 of them might take it negatively. So doesn't hurt, right? To actually put it out there.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. Shiva?
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. This session was really eye-opening.
Sure, thank you.
I just wanted to know, like, is it possible? Is there any vacancy to join the next session? I thought I heard that there's a session that's starting tomorrow. Are there any vacancies to join that session?
The next cohort for next week product manager fellowship starts in January.
Okay.
Yeah. The December cohort has already started.
Okay, it has already started. Okay.
Yeah. Hitesh?
Yeah. So thank you for your session. And actually, I have experienced 13 plus years into sales, and I don't have any experience in building this product or maybe any working on any technical coding. So this no code, you said this no code application which we have to use to build the product. So from where we should start learning those?
Just go to nocode.tech. Just go to this website called nocode.tech.
Nocode.tech.
.tech, right? And you can actually see what kind of tools are available, which tools would you need. It's a very good site that way, which will help you, right? To figure out what no-code tools do you need to build it out. But very simply, I would say just start off with Notion to begin with.
Notion.
Okay. Notion. Maybe do some research on YouTube. There is a lot of free content on how to use no-code tools to build out products, right? Now there is an integration with OpenAI and Bubble also. Without writing any single piece of code, you can build out an app, publish it to the Play Store or the App Store, right? So in today's world, if someone says that, okay, I cannot build a product, it is taken in a negative manner.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So there would be some session in this,
We'll try to. We'll keep having these on and off. So we'll try to have a session around building products with no code. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We have had a fellowship also in the past around no code, but yeah, I think we ran a couple of cohorts
you
there.
said I should go for Notion first. Notion,
Notion, yeah, it's much simpler. It will be similar to your Word documents and things like that. So you'll find it a lot easier to use. And then as you kind of graduate, you can move to Glide or Frame or kind of Bubble or Webflow or Framer and things like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Manas?
Hi, good evening, sir.
Hi.
Sir, you mentioned one thing regarding that for a validation standpoint, if we are just referring to some PMs to just review our work or whatever we have worked on a product teardown or PRD something.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to know one thing, rather a bit unsure about this, that how do we actually present that validation? Like, is it in a form of a testimonial or something like?
Yeah, you can actually put it as a testimonial there, right? And maybe link that person's LinkedIn, obviously with that person's kind of permission. But it adds that level of credibility and authenticity to your work.
Yeah, I was just confused about that. How to add that? Like that's completely.
Yeah, like a testimonial of sorts, right? So I think that should be good enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Shriram?
Hey, hi Arindam. Thank you so much for the session. It was super
Sure.
helpful. Yeah, I was just going through the projects on like Nextleap website and found them really like well organized and just beautiful to look at. So I was wondering like how are they made? So like I know people use Figma and all, but if we are doing a product teardown of let's say Swiggy, how do we get the Swiggy specific icons or like things like that to make it relevant to or good to look at?
So you have a lot of fellows from Nextleap out here on this call, so I think they are the best people to answer it because they are the ones who are doing it. Who wants to answer it? Okay, Panchali says just Google. It's not that hard, by the way. Yeah.
Got it. So you just like use the icons freely, no need to like no copyrights or anything while using Yamanar.
There are, but I think there are licensable images that you should try to use. So if you go to Google also, you'll find there are certain licensable images. Yeah.
Got it. Thanks.
Sure. Sumit?
Hello. So
Yeah.
I was just asking that when we applied to product roles, some companies ask us to do some assignment, like product
Yep.
assignment. So can
Yep.
we showcase them in our product portfolio?
You can always, but you can do that. The only thing is make sure that whatever you're putting out is good quality. It showcases the skill sets. That's the only thing which I'll say.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. Michael?
Yeah, hi Arindam. I have done a few internships during my college time and soon after that, which really helped me with my first job. But now after
Sure.
5 years experience, is it really necessary for me to have those
No.
internships in the resume?
No. If you have 5-6 years of experience, no point talking about internships.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Hari?
I was just wondering, like I was part of sort of like a co-founder and helping out in a startup that basically failed. We didn't go anywhere after 1 year and we kind of left it.
Yeah.
Is that something that like, do you think that's a good thing to include?
Yeah, absolutely.
This,
Absolutely. It's a known fact that 9
even
out
if
of 10 startups fail. So it's absolutely fine. It adds a lot more value. It showcases your entrepreneurial mindset and it showcases the fact that you are willing to take risks and you can think beyond the obvious there, right? So those are signals there. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, thank you so much, Suyash.
Just one
Yeah.
question, Arindam.
Yes,
I took a
Anish.
break. I took a break for civil services preparation.
Yeah.
How should I put forth that in my resume so that it doesn't look negative?
Just write that you are civil services, you took a break because of that. It's absolutely fine. We know that many people do it. Even in our fellowship, we have seen so many people come with that kind of a background. Be authentic. I always say that, right? People know that you might be taking a maternity break. People know that you might be taking a sabbatical. People know that you might take a break because you're preparing for an exam. It's absolutely fine, right? Be authentic. I think people like the fact that this person is authentic.
Okay.
Right? Those are things which stand out a lot more, right? Like and that's why I love Usher's kind of portfolio and resume. If you look at it, he plays on the front foot there. He knows he's from a criminal law background, which is absolutely not relevant, right? But he plays on the front foot, right? Doesn't hide anything there. And he focuses on kind of making sure that he talks about the product specific things a lot more. If you look at his resume, 30% goes towards the fact that he's talking about the fact that he's come from a criminal law background. And 70% actually talks about relevant product stuff.
True.
That's the way to kind of think about it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Panchali says, I am currently working freelance at a startup, which is at a pre-MVP stage. Should I include that? Yeah, I think, see, the thing is, with any experience, you are learning something, right? At the same time, I'm guessing you are also delivering some value. Okay, so talk about that. Don't shy away from talking about the value that you are delivering to the organization. Okay, so yeah, absolutely. Kind of, if you're working at a if you're working at a startup, why not talk about it? You should. Should we add it into our resume if we do 2 jobs simultaneously? Can it become a commitment issue from a recruiter's point of view? Again, as I said, like 8 out of 10 people will not think in the wrong manner, but 2 out of 10 people might think in a wrong manner. So it's all about who do you want to optimize for those 2 people or those 8 people. Try it out. I would say there's nothing to kind of, what is the max that can happen? What is the worst that can happen? For that particular company, you will not get shortlisted. You will not make it. That's the worst that can happen. Right? Nothing else. What is the problem?
And just one more question I have regarding the course actually. I am actually from the PMC5 cohort. Recently, I was trying to
C5,
refer the.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And thank you so much for taking such a wonderful session. I have made a lot of progress on product side of things.
Sure.
Actually, recently I was trying to refer a few friends, and I saw that the course has evolved in certain aspects.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It was changed quite a bit.
So,
Yeah.
is there any way we can get access to that? Maybe another subscription model or something?
Unfortunately, we do not have any such provisions right now. Yeah, we'll think about it and let you know. Yeah.
Thanks.
Sure.
Actually, I'm getting those content from my friends, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, actually, a lot of
Yeah,
people.
as long as you're learning, it should be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to say that a lot of people actually want that, so maybe I'm just my thought.
No, I know. It's just that operationally it becomes a bit tough for us to manage. That's the only thing. And we are a very small team. We are just 8 members, so it's just a very small team, right? So, oh wow, Greg is also here from C3. Okay, wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. So I think we'll figure it out. We'll try to come up with some solution. We always love to spread the knowledge. So absolutely, we'll try for that. Yeah.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful learning experience.
Sure.
Arindam,
Thank you.
last
Yes.
question I have.
Yes, please.
I'm working on a product. It's a product of mine. So I'm trying to implement these process what you have taught so far in this last 4 or 5 years, implementing those things in my project. So do you think it is helpful for me in terms of developing and making the product more effective as well as impactful?
Absolutely. See, I think
we have learned.
anytime you're working on a product, you yourself will have a lot of questions coming to your mind. Should I do this? Should I do that? It will force you to think and learn, right? That's the best part of building out a product. You will go through the product development journey a lot faster, right? And you will be able to understand and empathize with a lot of the different steps. What are the challenges? What are the things to think about, right? All of those things. So which is why I always say it's good if you are actually building out a product, you will be able to understand a lot of nuances, right? For example, if you're building out a login flow, you will have to think about, okay, should I have social login? Should I have a login with Google? Should I have a login with Facebook? Right? Should I have a login with phone number? Right? These are questions that will come to your mind, and you will come to an answer by analyzing and thinking deeply about it. Right? Now, that is something which cannot be taught as such, right? Unless and until you are experiencing it yourself, it's very hard to spoon feed you with that knowledge, right? So it will only come when you are building something on your own, which is why I'm a strong believer that if you can build, absolutely go for it.
And I hope this the entire process, whatever we learn, we can implement in any type of product development, maybe physical product, digital product, any type of product we can implement.
Absolutely, yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
So it's very helpful for me as well, because I'm progressing with time. I can see whatever I'm learning, I can put those things in my project. Initially, it was more of a project thing. Now I learned it. It's not a project; it's a product actually. I'm just considering it as a product.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Sumit, for kind of really grateful that you are sharing those kind words. Thank you, everyone, folks, for joining in. I know we are way past the time right now, but I hope this was helpful for all of you. And every Thursday from now on, you will continue to see these community events happening at Next Leap. This is a new initiative that we are trying out, which will also bring in people from previous cohorts, like what we saw in this session as well. I always love seeing people from older cohorts coming back. So thank you so much for joining in, and note down your learnings, right? Just so that you don't forget. Let it not be another kind of video watching session of sorts. Make sure you're implementing those learnings. And I think we just make sure that you're not making these mistakes. I look forward to some amazing portfolios coming out from all of you. And for those of you who are not part of the Next Leap community, I'm looking forward to welcoming you into the Next Leap community. All right. Thank you so much once again. Take care. Bye-bye.